Hi. One of the things I'm known for doing on occasion is taking in older or adult rescue dogs. Uh, Dogs that can't keep or find a home because they're really untrained, behavior problems, housebreaking problems, chewing problems. And what I'll do is I'll allow them to live several months here and I'll put some training on them that will better enable them to find and keep a home. One of the problems I encounter is that they will quickly learn when in my presence not to do these things, but then they'll sneak off to other parts of the house, behind my back and pull these behaviors. So I needed to come up with a way to monitor the other rooms without the dog realizing that I was watching. Essentially convince them that there are monsters living in the ceiling and walls that are always watching them, and if they try to do something they shouldn't, they will get caught. This would also work with young puppies a person is raising. They get to a point where they're moving around. You don't want to restrict them horribly, but you don't want them to be getting away with anything either. This would work for that too. So what I did was I tried to think about what devices do I have with cameras. I'm not flush with money. Eventually, I want to buy a formal monitoring system, a wireless. But until then, I still needed to figure out something to help me, get these dogs situated. So what I ended up coming across was these several netbooks I have. Old technology. I had one. My daughter had one. My mom gave me one that she had that she was no longer using anymore. They don't do internet things so great anymore, but they have webcams. I said, aha, that would work. So what I did was I made Skype accounts for each netbook, and then I did a conference call with the main computer, which is where I do a lot of my work. Part of my day is in front of the computer. So I set them up around the house, logged into the Skype accounts, and conference called into my main computer. And that's what you're seeing here. This is the screen on my main computer. I'm watching the family room with the sectional couch, the dining room area where the dogs commonly go, and the dog toy box. That black box is the dog toy box. That's in there. And then the little one at the bottom is my living room where I'm physically located. But it allows me to see behind me without turning the chair, making the chair creak, and alerting the dog I'm watching. Oh, there's Brody now on the bottom in the family room or in the living room behind me, um, having a good little time. You'll notice Brody's wearing a belly band. The belly band isn't to change the behavior or stop the behavior. The belly band is just in case I turn away, I get distracted for a minute, I miss him doing something. I don't want him leaving marks around the house. So that's simply a barrier to stop and absorb any mess that he might potentially make from being left on the floor or around the house. That's all that's for. When he gets better at not even trying, then we will move to not using a belly band at all when I think he's more likely not to mark. And then we'll see how he does with that. With males, really, it's easier if you're right on top of it as they're growing up and as they start to get their hormones, they're going to attempt to mark in the house at some point. It's much easier if you're right on top of it, knowing it's going to happen and watching for it. At that point, if you get them and nail them right away for it, pretty quickly they decide it's just not something they want to do. But it's really much harder if you leave them marking for a while and then they get into the habit, which is what's happened with Brody. Here you see that I've changed the camera slightly. The one for the family room, he's just not offered to go up against the sectional couch at all in the family room. I nailed him on it once, and that was the end of that for him, apparently. But the other day, he tried to do this up against the wall. So I shifted the camera perspective to show that wall in case he tries again because he was semi successful. Uh, he hasn't tried yet, but I'm sure at some point he will. So anyway, this is what I came up with to monitor the other rooms. Eventually, I will get in a specific house monitoring system. It's just a matter of time. But where there's a will, there's a way. Brody, don't you dare look at that chair. No. Yeah, I do that, by the way. I'll see a video on YouTube or something of a dog, I don't know, getting up on a kitchen table or something while the people are gone. You should hear me flip out. No, bad, no. Oh, I get all jacked up. It's the funniest thing. And just a tip, what I consider essential for raising puppies, a little green machine. I try to get a new one every time I get a new puppy. Uh, I I usually get puppies, 5 years apart, sometimes 7, and that's about as long as the green machine will last. Great for accidents when they're puppies. When they get older, you still, if they get sick in their tummy, they throw up, they have diarrhea, you've got the green machine to immediately clean it up before it really ruins carpets. By the way, on my carpets, I use a little bit of white vinegar, a little bit of pet and odor carpet shampoo, and hot water. That's what I use to clean up with the green machine. It works pretty good. And if you're on it right away, it usually doesn't stain. Another thing I think I want to consider necessary, at least for me, is some kind of camera system. Because, if you get them right away when they start doing bad behavior, it's eradicated very quickly. They very quickly decide they don't want to do that anymore. But if you let them keep up doing something, they get in a habit and it's just much harder to break. Brody is wearing my patience, but I took him in to try to fix him up, so just keep my patience and keep working at it. We are improving slowly. I wish it was faster, but you do what you got to do. Oh, and just an FYI, that picture, that's me and Cole. When Cole was 7 months old, we competed in obedience to try to qualify for a title, and he did it. He actually won over 12 other adult dogs. So his stop at recall is kind of far away, but it works. For 7 months old, that's pretty darn good. Anyway, I hope I've helped some people out by showing what I do, how I manage this. Happy training. Bye.